Good afternoon, everyone. Eddie J on Crypto here. Got a few things to talk about. Hopefully it'll be a short video. There's a lot to take in, and there's a lot of research for you to do to manage your own cryptocurrency portfolio. But let's get it. All right. Let's go on over here. So right now, you're looking at a few greens, right? You know, Tether doesn't count. It's tied to the dollar. No big deal. But it's down. So, you know, if you got into that, you'd make a couple of bucks. But not thinking about that. This is what I'm looking at. You see Cardano? Yeah, 140. Jumped up a little bit. In the past 24 hours, up almost 10%. You want to know why? SundaeSwap. SundaeSwap is their new, let me bring it on over. There you go. So SundaeSwap is a new DEX that's going to be on Cardano. And they made the announcement there's going to be a drop for Sunday, which is the coin for that DEX. You can't get it outside. You have to get it inside. So follow these directions on their blog so that you can actually take advantage of that. That's some reading. That's what I meant by there's some reading to do later on. Here you go. But this is why it jumped. Something that's very interesting about this is that if you look at Cardano, their market cap is 45, right? 45 million, sorry. Then when you look up at at Solana, where are they? Yeah, I was right the first time. Sorry, I thought that was a decimal, but it's not. It's 45 billion to 46 billion. Now, if you look at all the other layer ones, the reason why they jumped up, you know, after doing research and listening, you know, I got some more information, to some reading on different places like CryptosRUs and NASDAQ and all these other places. It's all about the amount of information you can take in, your sources of information. How I manage my portfolio is all about information and turning that information into knowledge, right? I'm sorry, it's kind of a old knowledge management thing that I do. So looking at this, all of the other layer ones have TVL. You want to know which layer one doesn't? Cardano. That's right. So they're maintaining at number 7 with no TVL. All of the other layer ones that have TVL, all the other layer ones that have TVL jumped up. So if you look at where Cardano is now at $1.41, I was able to get in a little bit, or actually $1.40, I was able to get in a little bit lower, luckily. But that was a while ago because it had just been maintaining, right? I'm suggesting that Cardano is going to take a nice bump when SundaeSwap hits. So they're getting SundaeSwap. That means they're getting TVL, total value locked. They're getting smart contracts and liquidity pools. All of that brings them into the fold where all of the other layer ones, you know, have that. So you're going to see I'm thinking we're probably going to see some nice major jumps coming from Cardano. A while ago, I had said Cardano is going to make moves in 2022. And here you are, Cardano is making moves in 2022. That's very interesting to me. There's more stuff, I believe, to come. The SundaeSwap launch is a beta launch. They're calling it beta, but they've been doing, you know, they've been running it on the testnet for a really long time. So I think there's a lot more going on there. So I think there's more to come on Cardano as we move forward, which is why I think Cardano is poised to just bounce up. Something else that will probably make you scratch your head. Remember a while ago, there was talk about Facebook Meta trying to get involved in crypto. They couldn't get approval. Guess who else is trying it now? PayPal. What's the difference between PayPal and Facebook? Totally different industries. One is a fintech, the other one's not. Facebook was trying to get into it, or Meta was trying to get into it, but PayPal is already there. So it could be that they could actually achieve the goal. Now, I talked about this a couple of days ago when somebody found the code as well as logo. They found a logo for PayPal coin. Now, that's very interesting because when you think about that, you kind of sit there and you kind of go, well, damn, that's a lot that we'd be able to do, or they'd be able to do. And what kind of convenience would that be with PayPal having a stable coin? What countries do they already do business in? And how does that bring them up a notch to match, let's say, Stripe, who's moving into Argentina, and they already do crypto. So that there are things going on there that could really happen. And more importantly, now I told you about that a couple of days ago. Here's where it makes a difference. Guess who they tap to help them do this? Algorand. Now that's news. So when you look at PayPal and Algorand, are you looking for a pop, as time goes forward, if everything works out the way it could work out? Oh yeah, I'd be looking for some growth there. So there's some more news that's going on there. Other than that, there's not a heck of a lot to talk about. When you look at Bitcoin, it's dropped a bit. It's down at 43,000. Ethereum's still on sale at 3,300. So I'm looking at this, I'm kind of going, yeah, it's still a buying spree. It's still a buying spree. There's a lot going on in the space. I mean, let's not get it twisted. Solana's doing well, but with all this news about Cardano is poised to flip, in my opinion, is poised to flip Solana. But Solana's still a great platform. They have a lot of things going on. Cardano's got a lot of great things going on. For my own portfolio, why am I not holding Solana? Do I believe I can make money holding Solana? Yes, without a doubt, hands down, I think we can make money there. However, I'm not holding it because look at the price tag of this little guy. Yeah, Cardano, it's $1.40. Why would I be looking to spend, over 10 times that when I can buy something cheaper that's demonstrated they're about to have major uptick potential? So they're in the same space as, when I look at Cardano, I'm looking at Phantom, I'm looking at Polygon, I'm looking at these areas, at these projects, because they've got a lot of stuff going on that can really propel them forward. So that's something that I keep in the back of my mind. So it can be a great, and I need to start breaking everything down into sector, and we're building out the tool to do that. But all of these things in this particular sector, when you're looking at layer ones, all of the layer ones are really great. Terra's got a whole bunch of stuff going on. That would be, if you said, I have Terra, I'm holding Terra. I'm not mad at you. I think that's a great choice. For me, as I'm building up my portfolio and trying to really educate myself, I'm looking for as much upward potential as possible. And do I think that Cardano can hit $10 by the end of the year? In my humble opinion, if they get even more DEXs on their yes. Hands down, I think it's a yes. You get the first DEX, you get the second DEX, they have TVL, total value locked, that's huge. Then you start getting smart contracts on there, you start getting liquidity pools, and you start getting all these other things that are going on that now Cardano would be capable of. You sit there and you kind of go, yeah, that's big upside potential. So not a percentage gain, but a multiple gain. So do I think that I can get a 10x out of Cardano this year? I honestly think I can get a 10x out of Cardano this year. I'm not a numbers guy. I am not a financial advisor, but from my portfolio, my perspective, I'm not necessarily using, charts and graphs to make my decisions. I'm using that information that goes into my calculations, but I'm also looking at the utility of everything. I will always look at the utility of everything as I move forward, because something that has utility that people are using is going to stay being used until somebody unseats them. And yes, I'm looking at you, Chainlink, because you're the biggest, baddest oracle out there. And it would take a really long time for another oracle to come along and take that crown as number one. So that makes Chainlink, to me, a major piece of connective tissue. So it might be low now, but I have faith that it's going to go higher. So I'll get that. I'll get certain things that I believe in their sectors. They're doing well. They have upside potential. And looking at other things that have upside potential, looking at Solana, Cardano, the idea is that, yes, Solana can go up for sure. I'm going to get a percentage. Nothing wrong with percentage gain, right? A gain is a gain. But if I can look at something and I can get a multiple, I'm definitely going to put a little bit more money in the multiple, right? So it doesn't mean I won't do anything over here. It just means that, if I get one Solana coin, it's 140 beans, I can get 100 of these and see a multiple gain. So that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for in terms of upside potential. So I'm starting to build out what I believe my good news sources are for early news, early chatter, early talk, where I can see things coming for a little bit. So, you look at Algorand, you get a little bit of a pop from Algorand. Let's see if we can find them real quick. So look at that. Yesterday we had 2%. So they didn't really jump all that much off the news, but does that little news about PayPal come in a few days or a couple of weeks where more people find out about it and start to pile on to Algorand? Highly possible, because it's happened in the past. So I'm looking for that kind of news to see, well, who's talking about it? Where's the chatter? How much chatter? Oh, did somebody finally pick it up? It's sort of like television when you look at the news that you're reading in the newspaper, and the talking heads don't get that news until a day later or 48 hours later. So there could be a delay in everybody getting involved in it. So you want to see what's there first. Easier said than done. It's not easy. You actually, like I said, you actually have to choose your sources properly. I have a friend of mine, like a brother to me, Elliot. Elliot uses all kinds of tools to manage his stock portfolio. But then he sat back and he says, I really like to see certain slices of numbers. So what did he do? He built his own tool to give him that information. And with that information, he feels able to make more educated, decisions on what he wants to do with his stock portfolio. So that's basically what I'm doing. I'm sitting back and speaking with people like Elliot and saying, certain things can transfer over to the crypto space. Certain things don't. You're looking at different things in the crypto space. Like I said, me creating my news desk to track all of the news that's out there that could be good for me to know and good for me to make a decision on. That's what I'm looking for. So as I move forward, again, it's always going to be connective tissue. It's always going to be multiple over percentage in terms of gain. It's also, something else that I have not touched on is going to be, what exchanges are you involved with, and how many wallets do you have, and the kind of wallets that you have, and how easily can you maneuver money or maneuver your holdings, right? So I've got any number of exchanges I work with, any number of wallets that I work with, including hardware. And it's all because it gives me an opportunity to move things faster. It might be that this particular exchange has a deal, right? Like yesterday I spoke about how FTX has a deal for you to do NFTs on Solana for free. What? You don't have to tell me twice. I'm there. I'm with you, buddy. I don't have an FTX account now, but this evening I will. No doubt. I will definitely be on there because I want to take advantage of that. So depending on where you are, some exchanges have their prices, other exchanges have their prices. And have you ever heard of Forex? I've literally made money flipping between exchanges. Just because this exchange has, a lower number, I was able to buy in there, or whatever configuration I used, I was able to flip exchanges and make money. Sometimes you have a complex trade where you've got some BTC that you've got to flip to an exchange because that exchange lets you purchase this particular coin, and then you want to move that coin over to your wallet. So I was able to make money on that BTC transfer, flipping it to another coin to buy the other coin because that was the pairing that was there. So I made money here because I knew I was going to lose money on that last road. But luckily I made more money here. So I came out in the black after my complete transaction and came out ahead with my transaction. So sometimes it is a little bit of a jump. It's almost like when you're looking at, let's say live coin watch numbers versus CoinGecko numbers versus anybody else's numbers. They might have different numbers that are being shown. You might be looking at this exchange, and this exchange on all three windows, because I have two monitors there, one in the center. Technically, I have another one over there, but that one's off camera. But looking at those different exchange rates, you might be able to make money flipping exchanges. So just like the Forex game, you start playing, those numbers. So if you can make enough money off of a trade versus the fees that you would be charged to do something, you should look into that, because it'll usually involve, more than one exchange, more than one coin, right? Because you're flipping from one coin to another coin to take advantage of the exchange rates and everything else. And then you can decide, is that something I'm holding? So for me, my hardware wallets, my off exchange wallets are going to be things that I'm holding. My on exchange stuff is going to be stuff that I'm willing to part with, right? Like I saw it jumped up 20%, 15%, 10%, whatever that jump was, it hit my number. I was able to get out, take advantage of that, look to see on the downturn, buy on the dip, go back up, and I'm playing a trade game with those. Right? So I might say, I want 1,000 Cardano right now. Take that 1,000, put it on the off wallet, take another 500, buy 500 Cardano, and that's what I'm going to play with, because I know how it goes is it's going to spike up, and sooner or later you're going to have some sell-off, and then it's going to go down, and you start to pay attention to what that sell-off is going to be, and you dump yourself so that you can get back in and rise back up. But you're managing separate wallets, which is why I look at my portfolio in a couple of different ways, which is how we're building out the tool. One way is as the aggregate coin, right? Wherever I'm holding my coin, whichever wallet I have my coin in, I'm looking at that aggregate and I'm seeing what my strike price is at the aggregate, so I can see if I'm profiting at the aggregate level. But I'm also looking at the same information at the lot level. I just spoke about this with Elliot over at his house when I went to go visit. He gave me some nice lights that I'm still playing with, which is really cool. Thank you, Elliot. But I start to look at each lot that I purchased, I purchased, 3 sets of Cardano, or 2 sets of Bitcoin, 5 sets of, crypto.com, whatever it is. But I can now judge each one of those lots based on the price that I purchased, the price that it is now, am I plus or minus? When you put all of those together at the aggregate, that gives you, a true strike price across your whole portfolio. But maybe you're judging based on, I bought this and I happen to be holding that in this wallet and it's making me big money. Excuse me. Is that going to be my hodl? Maybe. I bought this one at a higher price. It made me some money. Maybe 10, 20%, whatever your number is, that hits your trigger, and you don't think that there's any news that's going to come out anytime soon. So you think you're going to sell at the high and buy back in at the low. This is going to be your play wallet. So that's what I'm looking at, and that's why I'm building a tool like that. My tool will also track which wallet I actually have it in. And that's actually a very big deal, because if you can track each wallet that you have your coin in, that can help you figure out, well, how easy is it for me to maneuver? I might have a MetaMask right there on, in my browser, or CytoMask, or, whatever else it is that I'm using, or I might have something on my phone, whatever it is I'm using. And you start to realize, oh, okay, now I see what he's saying. It's harder for me to move assets from this particular wallet out to another wallet, meaning, let's say I'm looking at Ether. Well, if you're about to sell your Ether, that gas fees are going to hit you. So you're paying attention to how much those gas fees are, how much you're moving, and is it worth you dumping that so you can realize your profit, right? Because again, I'm not trying to sell things at a loss. It would take a lot for me to sell something at a loss. I'd rather hold it. It's not a loss until you realize it. At the same time, it's not a profit until you take it. So these are things that I'm looking at, and it's small things that I'm learning as I listen to people that have been in the game longer than I have, like CryptosRUs, looking at different people on Twitter. I have a whole list that I keep, and I look at them every day. I listen to them every day. I'm reading the news every day. I'm in there so I can get a feel for what's going on, right? And something about Cardano not having TVL, not having total value locked, not having DEXs. What? Yeah, I really think that they're going to explode. So it's things like that. When I'm taking in that information, thinking about it and turning that information into knowledge, and now I know, okay, there's a potential for Algorand because now, yeah, PayPal said that they were going to be doing something, or, kind of let leak that they're going to be doing something. And now they dropped the hammer that, hey, we're working with Algorand to see if we can make that happen. So it's things like that that you start to pay attention to, because news can break anywhere. That piece of news happened to be broken by CryptosRUs and George Tung's team. Hats off to you, bud. Love what you're doing. But that news could have broken anywhere else. So pay attention to your news sources. And when we build out the tool, we'll share with you who our news sources are, what I'm taking in to manage my portfolio, along the journey. So that's where we are. Hope you have a great Sunday. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Eddie J on Crypto. Don't forget to smash the likes, subscribe, and get the notifications, because I haven't set up specifically when I'm going to be dropping videos and everything else. I'm trying to get into that normal cadence, every day at this time, blah, 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 but I'm not there yet. So subscribing to the channel and hitting the notifications button will actually get you there so that you know every single time that we drop something new. Hope all is well with you and yours. Eddie J on Crypto.